All right, let's get to the first discussion now. Are you a lover of consuming bottled water? You know, that bottled water that you might want to have a rethink if all of this research thing is all something we should go by. Research conducted by some scientists from the University of Connecticut disclosed that consumption of bottled water and other items stored in plastics can cause male infertility. Now, according to the research, male fertility is on a decline as men today produce fewer sperm than in the past, and the sperm are less healthy. A Nigerian doctor who shares this theory, Dr. Rashid Abbas, joins us now right here in the studio to make sense of all of this. Dr. Abbas, good morning.
Good morning.
And it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay, so when this topic came and everyone was asking, oh, really? Because drinking water in the bottle has become part of our lives on a daily basis. So how did this theory come? Why is this discovery now? And how is this going to work? You know, there are so many questions because a lot of people are interested. In fact, when this topic was promoted, we saw the reaction on social media and they're waiting to get to know what this is all about. So let's start somewhere. Talk to us about this research.
Actually, thank you so much for the opportunity. So let's take a step back and say, how did we get here? I grew up in the 60s and 70s. We used to have access to public water. And now all of a sudden, you know, from there, my transition into the study of sciences and everything like that, I did my medical training at Yale. And now we realize that lack of public water, the one we used to drink just from public tap, is actually depriving us of vital trace elements, we call them. These are things like zinc, fluoride, selenite. So now I start practicing. I've been in the practice of men's health now for about 19 years. And what we focus on is just how a man's body works. So now it comes to the issue of fertility. In this part of the world, we used to think fertility is usually a woman's problem. But now the data tells us it's about 40-45% men. And so where do we go? Let's analyze the sperm. The semen that a man makes. As we all sit here now, we don't have the sperm in our body. We make it on demand when we are with our ladies, our partners. And the analysis now shows that most men are on the decline in terms of production. And but most importantly, one of the elements of the trace element is called zinc, which you and I only get from the public water. All the bottled water we're drinking, they're pure, but they do not have any supplements in them. There is no fluoride, there is no zinc, there is no calcium, and all these are needed for full development of any man. So in order for you to be a father, especially if you're growing up now, you need to make sure you get all these supplements, and you're not going to get them from bottled water.
So,
Wow.
tell us about zinc.
Yes. So zinc is one of those vital elements that we need. Actually, the main function is in our immune system. But when we go back to the male genital tract, there is one little organ that we all talk about in men's health called the prostate. So when I make my semen, which is coming from my testicle, it needs to be transported to the prostate. The prostate will have fructose and zinc. The zinc is essential for the sperm motility. If I make enough sperm and my sperm is not moving, it's not going to find the woman's egg and there will be no pregnancy. So in men's health, zinc is extremely vital.
So what does the zinc do there? Is the zinc the power, or, you know, what tell me the relationship between zinc and the spermatozoa.
Good. So spermatogenesis is something we make on demand, like you are in the other room and you're getting ready. Your prostate, as that little organ, the only thing it does for us is production. So when the semen is produced from the testicle, where the testosterone, that's our own body fuel, gets mixed up together, and you must be well hydrated, by the way. If you're not well hydrated, you're not going to make a lot. So once you make all that, it gets into the prostate. Prostate will give it energy through the fructose, that's the sugar. And now zinc is what affects motility. There's something called mitochondria. It needs to have that with the cilia. So if the zinc is missing, the sperm is there, but it's not moving. So the actual motility chemical
the work of zinc.
is the work of zinc.
No, now tell us, how come that the bottled water doesn't have zinc?
That's the 800, the big gorilla in the room, because it's a question of the healthcare government demanding that. The producers of bottled water, they're business people. They've met the bare minimum. The bare minimum is produce pure water. Yes, all the bottled water are pure. They need to do a step ahead of that. That's where public health comes into play. Because when you had things like fluoride, you are allowing little grown-up babies to have good teeth because fluoride is needed for that. When you give them zinc, you are preparing it in order to have a new generation. But they're not doing that because it's going to cost them money. And so our government need to step up and make it a requirement that yes, you've met the bare minimum of producing pure water because all the bottled water are pure. But you will not see on their content any addition of supplements. That will come at a cost to them.
All right. So,
Sorry,
yes.
can the government therefore insist that you must have zinc in this? What does it cost the businessman who makes the water to put zinc in the water?
Actually, it's a simple process, and we're not asking them to go for a new research. This research is abundantly out there. We're just talking about cut and paste. But to any businessman, they want to spend the bare minimum to maximize profit. So our government needs to step up as an healthcare requirement and say, no, we've accepted the pure water for so long, but now we're seeing the effect. Research is proving it. Let's add all these supplements. It's going to come at a cost, but yet there has to be a corporate social responsibility from our business people also to contribute.
All right. In this zinc that is very vital here, apart from water, we can't get zinc from anywhere else?
Actually, you know, to every problem, there has to be a solution. Okay. You can get zinc from your multivitamins. Okay. So I tell some of my patients after seeing them that, look, okay, I'm not going to stop you from drinking your bottled water, but now it's time for you to get on a complete multivitamin that has adequate zinc requirement in it, right? Because when we see in men's health, yes, the low sperm and the sperm motility is a concern to us, but we have other issues to deal with, you know, like infection and all that. So we face that, and then we now make appropriate recommendations. Get on supplements. So don't leave the supplements until your old age. It's time for you to get on a multivitamin daily, and that will help.
That's interesting. The environment in which we live in is actually different from the environment in the past, where we all went to tap and bottled water. But today, people who use bottled water and the other one will call pure water. Is that one really the pure one now? Yeah? Well, there's a place in the Bible says, your eyes are too pure to look upon. You are too pure for my good. So what is going on? Is it purity is not a sin?
I think it's a matter of us demanding, because, you know, left to
the answer to that question is the pure water. Is it really better than the bottled water?
No, the bottled water has been shown to be better than the pure water, because we live in an environment where everybody has borehole. And there have been some reports that some of this pure water are coming from borehole.
Yes.
The bottled water have a little bit of requirement to meet up the NAFDAC requirement and all that. So yes.
No, in terms of fertility, I'm talking about pure water.
Because
it comes from from borehole.
Exactly.
And so it doesn't have all the chemicalization that
the bottled water
that kills the zinc, that makes it pure.
Pure, exactly. The problem with the pure water also is, you know, from location to location, the sediment of your borehole is different. If I make a borehole here compared to if I go to the island, we're not going to get the same chemical composition. And so we need a good regulation. If not, if we leave this to the business people, we're on a...
How do we begin to take this regulation thing to another level where we become more serious? Because now there's a new consciousness amongst people where, because I took a bottle of water and said, oh, so we've been drinking this and then we're not getting the right thing from this, apart from just the satisfaction. Oh yeah, I've just quenched my thirst. Talk to us from how to get government on board.
So we all need to be educated consumers. And when we're educated consumers, we have the information now. It's about what do we do with it. Election is coming. It's time we talk to our elected officers that, look, this is what we need. They have an healthcare committee, obviously, and they have think tanks to further verify the research and say, look, then let's look at the data. A lot of these Western countries that even have access to better water, why are their fertility rates going down? We have the answers to that. They choose to have less and less children.
So they accept that this thing has no zinc.
Yes.
And we don't even care for zinc because we're in sync with it.
the more we know, the better we should have. Yeah. So now we have the information, and then it's time for us to go to the front with it and let our elected officers know that we can actually make changes to this. The consumers are there. We're a huge market. Almost every Nigerian I know drink bottled water. I do. And so now to let them know that, hey, all it takes is additional pennies on it for you to supplement. We need calcium, we need zinc, we need, selenite on it, because this helps, especially for men.
For the like in the United States or in the Western world, where they have better understanding of these things, do their waters have zinc?
Yes, absolutely. So
Is it regulated by
it's
government?
regulated by the FDA, the Food and Drug.
To put zinc
To
there.
put zinc in there, not only the zinc, the selenite, the fluoride, it's mandated. And so when you go to the store, you see the ones that doesn't have that, they're slightly cheaper, and there's a disclaimer, and you see the ones that do. You might need to pay 20 more cents on that, but you know, you are making that conscious decision that, okay, oh, I'm no longer in the business of making babies, I can buy this, or I can't afford it, I'll buy this. So,
But looking at Nigerian diet,
yes.
is there also the possibility that our diet is complementing the
lack of
absence
zinc
of
in the
zinc in what you maybe when you eat your amala and gbegiri, you have enough zinc to offset the lack of zinc in the water.
Bottled water?
Good. That's an excellent question, because we were looking into that and said, you know, if we're short here, is there other places where we can make it up?
yeah.
But the issue is water is essential for life, believe it or not, compared to you and I eating. So more people actually feel the thirst to drink. And because we're in this part of the world under the equator that we feel thirsty, we sweat more, we have to drink more. So there are other foods. There are even some natural herbs, the regular cloves that will help you, the ginger, the garlic that will help you. But there is nothing that will meet up the level of amount of water you need to consume, because your semen production depends on how well hydrated you are, not how much ammonia is in your body. It has to be the fluid content. And so we still want to push the essence of, you know, adding supplements to the bottled water.
So we are a race of baby killers.
Absolutely. And
we are committing what they call it, infanticide.
Without
At
knowing.
the great
Without
stage, we are committing crime
Without
against
knowing.
the coming generation.
Honestly. And we're going to pay a price for that, because if we're not making up, it's going to get to the point where we're not going to have enough population to generate tax.
All right. Now, apart from the issue of making babies,
Yes.
right? Let's talk about the health of the baby that we're making, in fact.
Absolutely.
Does it have an impact there too?
Absolutely. So when we talk about semen production, which is the spermatogenesis, when we analyze them in our clinics, we're looking at three modalities. How much is a man making in each ejaculation? How many of that is well formed? When you and I don't have enough of this supplement, you are not going to make well-formed semen, welcome sperm. And if that is able to move enough to get into the egg, the baby is not going to be as you and I want. So it's a bigger problem.
How do you recommend a policy on this matter? Because you are going to, this matter is not just a matter for NAFDAC or it's for federal government, it's for the business community, it's for profit and so on. Is it possible for us to say, okay, to solve this matter, we have to get back to reticulated water and so on? That's also at a great cost.
It's at a great cost, and that's a big infrastructure development that is going, you know, especially when we have
infrastructure for babies.
Exactly. we need to let our elected officials see how important this is, and even for short-term and long-term issues. So we have to make water a priority. When we make that a priority and we're educated consumers and we can go to our elected officers and say, look, this is what's going on, because after all, most of them are men, they are fathers, grandfathers, and they'll be expecting more babies. We need to let them know that the science is clear. This cannot be a partisan issue.
So where do we start from in this implementation? Because the point there is NAFDAC is the body, you know, backed by authority or by the law to give endorsement to anyone who wants to come up with bottled water production and all of that. They all apply to NAFDAC, and NAFDAC sees your everything and say, oh, carry go. So if zinc is not there and has this risk, and of course we believe that NAFDAC is also a makeup of a lot of scientists, you know, pharmacists, whatever the thing is, and so on. How do we reconcile that? How do we start from?
I think we're taking the first step, because you guys are the front leaders. So bringing this to the limelight and letting people realize it. Again, the more we know, the better we make decisions. So we expect everybody to go to their medical doctor. Just go for your routine regular check. And if you are at that age or you are newly married and fertility is not coming, this is one area. Because the more abundant the data gets to them, it's going to get to the National Assembly. They are the one that can empower NAFDAC to tell NAFDAC what to do. Because NAFDAC as a body, if they have their think tank, the research is abundantly clear. We're not even expecting them to put their own money into R&D. This thing is out there, cut and paste. If it's good enough for the Western world, it's good enough for us.
Many people have the impression that water is pure, H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. So nobody was talking about the fact that there are other elements into it. So to be pure, it has to be plenty. There has to be a lot of things in that. So the pure water is not just H2O, it is pure zinc,
pure
Pure calcium.
calcium,
all of that, yeah. So that helps to energize the body and to strengthen us for all of this. Why is it that it is only the male that has to suffer for this?
It's an interesting thing. You know, I come to you as a men's doctor. And I only see men in my clinic. And this is one of the issues we deal with. So obviously, there might be a research coming about women, because for decades, we've all thought infertility has to be a woman's issue. It has to do with their age. But now we're seeing the same thing, just like menopause in men, andropause. And this is what is actually leading to the emergence of men's health. Traditionally, men don't go to the doctor. So for men to even be talking about, you know, the issue of erectile dysfunction, the issue of not being able to get a woman pregnant, it's very personal. It affects the who we are, our self-esteem. And so it's one of those areas. I don't have an answer why it's not women, but we know.
Yeah, but again, since you have been meeting with an examining man, do they all say that they drink this bottled water? And then what have you recommended for them to do, since we don't have a situation where they can actually go to drink impure water, because impure water may make them even sick enough, even sick enough to be impure.
Absolutely. That is true. So for you that come up with a problem, you want to offer them solution, and you make it in tandem. It's going to be in partnership. So we offer them the treatment because there are zinc supplements besides the tablet. There are zinc injections that you can give them on, and you let them see the importance of that. And you'll be amazed when they come back to you a few weeks later and you repeat the semen analysis, seminal fluid analysis, and they see the it's amazing, because there is nothing more thankful to a newlywed who have been in this for a year or two, doing all the right things, and they're just not getting any pregnancy. So yes, we offer them supplements, and it can be something as simple as multivitamins that has the zinc content in it. I will not tell you not to drink your bottled water, but look, you have a time frame, you want to get your wife pregnant, so this is what you need to do.
What would you tell people who are aspiring fathers, right? The young men.
Yes.
What kind of relationship should they have with their bottled water?
Absolutely.
It's a very interesting phenomenon.
Absolutely. So yes, we want everybody to be an educated consumer. Now we know. So if you pick up another bottled water, check, look at the contents. Just make sure you know what you're putting in your body. And if it's not there, go to your local pharmacy, get multivitamins. I'm a proponent of just getting the right thing. I don't have any particular preference, but get the multivitamin and then continue your water.
I read in the London Times years ago that it is better you get your supplements from food than from your vitamins from food. So it's actually a front page story. Better you get your vitamins from food than from supplements. Because the supplements are probably useless, because if you have the right food. But it looks like in Nigeria, our food is not such that you can really get all the supplements. Because I read somewhere that in Asia, in the Western countries, they get their nutrients raw from the food they eat. In Asian countries, they get it half cooked. In Africa, we cook it to death. When you put it there, when you put the egusi, say, the thing never done.
Yeah,
so when I say it done, but nothing there.
So we expose all the natural nutrients to overheating, and that makes them disintegrate. You're absolutely right. The right source is our diet. If we can go back to what our fathers and grandfathers did, where they had organic.
Yes.
But now we don't have access to the organic. Most of our stuff that might be imported are even not as fortified as they should be. So we need all to come together, because we're all in this boat together.
But from your observation, all the while, is it that all the bottled water don't have zinc, or some have and others don't? What have you observed?
I'm yet to see any bottled water in Nigeria with any form of supplement. They're all pure, but there is none. No fluoride, no zinc, no selenite, none in their bottled water.
Is this deliberate? Are they not supposed to be aware that they are killing?
Yeah, exactly.
We are drinking our children to death.
It's a matter of business. It's going to cost them a little more money, even though they don't have to invest in the research and development. The data is out there. But in order for them to have the zinc and to have the calcium, the selenite, fluoride, it's an additional cost. And they've chosen the pathway of more maximize.
Do you have data on this?
Yes.
What does the data say?
Yeah,
The data, I mean, in figures. Do you
yes.
have that? Yeah.
No, because we sell over 25 million bottled water a day in Nigeria. So that tells us that this, in terms of pennies on it, they're making a killing. It's a profit thing. And so if we have our elected officers, let them know that, yeah, it's going to cost you a little bit into your profit, but we need the zinc, we need the calcium, we need the fluoride, because you need to create more consumers for the future. If we're not, if the semen is being affected now, we're not going to have enough of this. So it's a matter of having the appropriate body come out with the mandate, and the business people will follow suit.
Apart from infertility, what other risks do men face by the drinking bottled water without zinc, calcium, and so on?
Absolutely. So what the data also tells us is, in a subtle way, is that the zinc, the selenite, and the fructose is not only essential for semen production, it's essential for the prostate gland's health. So now when this prostate is not getting all this that it needs for its own health, then we're going to be seeing emergence of increased enlarged prostate. Because
but we already have that.
We already have that. We already have so many reports, a lot of reports about around the prostate.
Prostate, exactly. And this is getting worse.
Could there be a link?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the prostate needs to be an healthy organ. Whether you want to make babies or not, part of what it needs for itself is the fructose, is the selenite, is the calcium. And we can get that abundantly from our diet, can be supplemented from the water. If we're drinking more of the bottled water all day and it doesn't have that, we're not doing ourselves
I lost two of my classmates in the past few years. I lost one this year and another one a couple of years ago to prostate. Wow. They were not apparently old enough to die, and so on. So while we are talking about fertility, we are also talking about prostate. That zinc must be such an important element. Why is it that people don't talk about zinc at all?
It is vital.
The only thing we know about zinc, zinc is the
they did a little bit during COVID, because if you hear about different homemade remedies, because zinc is also essential in your immune system. It helps to build your immunity. And 80% of your immune system is in your gut. We're talking about diet, what we put in our belly. So yeah, zinc is absolutely essential. Yeah, the semen production, the immune system, and our prostate health. And the research is still ongoing, so only God knows.
What is the meal that we should avoid, especially especially those who are aspiring to have, what kind of meals should they avoid in order to preserve their zinc, or in order not to kill their zinc?
Absolutely. So this is going to be in a secondary explanation, right? So we recommend in Men's Health that for our future fathers to avoid eating swallows late. I'm talking eba, amola, pounded yam. Don't eat them late. There is nothing wrong with them. You have to caution how much portion you eat. Why is that? Most of these are heavy carbohydrates. Most people, even halfway through, they're already snoring, falling asleep. That means it diverts blood flow away from your brain. It's the brain that is going to release chemicals to your testicle when you need to have adequate blood flow in order for you to perform in the other room. So we absolutely tell our patients, please avoid eating even heavy swallows late at night, because that's
rice.
Yeah, rice is fine. Eat lots of wheat, especially if it's unprocessed. Eat lots of your pap, that's good. Oatmeal is excellent for you. There is the cloves. We have abundant amount of cloves around. It's good as spice, and it's good for men's health.
So for all of us who drink a lot of bottled water, if we have to start deliberately or intentionally begin to feed on zinc and all of that, how soon before one gets to that optimal level?
You'll be surprised, only about 6 weeks. About 6 weeks, you're going to
It
have
takes that
adequate,
long?
Yes. You get adequate amount that seeps into your semen because remember that part has minimal blood flow. So that means you have to consume your bottled water daily and then make sure you get your multivitamins. Or if you can get good balanced diet, all organic appropriately, yes, you'll be able to get enough zinc down there.
Why is it that enough information about this is not really out there?
The jury is out, and I think part of it here is also a medical community. Nothing against them. There has to be an aggressive CME, continuous medical education. We are made to do that in the US. Every time I renew my license every 2 years, I have to submit 50 credits. And this is something about latest, science research. So in order to stay licensed in your field.
So as it is, the doctors have some work to do here when it comes to being intentional. Because you brought it here, we don't know. You just go get bottled water. If I buy a lot of the packs and then you stuff the house with everybody wants to drink water. There's a lot of water in the fridge and all of that to drink. Now, talk to us also about the temperature of water, because I was talking now, that came to me. A lot of people put water in the fridge and it's ice cold. What impact does that also have?
So we prefer your bottled water to either be lukewarm, room temperature, and if you're the type that you're aggressive, you're active, we actually prefer it to be a little warmer. Cold is not necessarily...
Warmer?
Yes, warmer. Cold is not necessarily good for you, but because of our temperature, so most people, you come in, you are sweaty, you feel you need to quench your thirst. But in terms of how your body functions, your body and my body is full of hormones and enzymes. They work better when the temperature is lukewarm to a little warmer.
Yeah, so I know of a general who always drinks warm water after a meal. It's old now, it's in his 80s. But we will also say that if you carry bottled water and put it in the car,
yes,
and then there is
disintegration
from the
they
sun.
say it's not good to drink it.
Absolutely, and that's not good because of the constituents of the plastic.
Plastic, yeah.
It has all these bad chemicals in it
That will melt
phosphate
into the
that will
water.
melt into the water. And most of us have that bad attitude. You leave it in your car is hot, no windows open, and then you continue drinking it. So you are consuming, those are heavy elements. They're not good.
Wow. Okay. Well, we have to leave it here for now. It's a lot of
Is there
work.
anything we have not discussed that you want people to know about it?
Absolutely, that men's health is important and that we want more men to be aware. And, you make a conscious decision about checking yourself out. There is nothing that should be a stigma about men infertility. It's not only a woman's problem. It's an equal opportunity offender.
But women have to play a role because men tend to, I'm sure you're aware of this, men tend to be very careless about their own health. Women are more careful about their own health. So wives have to pay attention to their men. So don't drink that water too much. Check that water whether there is zinc.
Absolutely, yes.
I remember the times where the times I used to drink carbonated water, and I'm ordering for a bottle of soda, and my wife is there saying, "You're not taking it."
You're not taking
okay,
it.
all right, I obey. Commander in Chief, I obey. All right, Dr. Rashid Abbas, thank you so much for coming on the
My
program.
pleasure.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much
and
for
thank you
having
for this information.
Thank you.
I believe the authorities are here, NAFDAC, the Nigerian Medical Association, and even government, and so on. Thank you very much.
Always my
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you so
Great.
much for having me.